Hakim. Welcome to the Technology series. As you know, being one of the security expert in the industry, the pandemic has taken a toll on businesses. And during this period, technology has played a major role in business continuity for these organizations. With that note, I would like to hear from you, like what all things organizations adopted and what kind of technology implemented, and what were the challenges, what are the good things, bad things, and how they're able to manage it through. Because today we know technology has become the backbone. And dynamically, the technology landscape is also changing. Like what we see today, all applications getting cloud delivered, then infrastructure moving into cloud. So how does this impact, and how organization can stay future ready? Your take.
So, Rajat, first of all, good afternoon. And thank you so much for having me for this discussion, right?
Wow.
You and I, or InstaSafe and ProTechmanize or I, we go a long way. We have seen technology right from the days when the solutions were only being used just to connect from home to the office network and so on and so forth as a luxury, right? Because I don't want to travel to office, and that is the reason I use different technologies to connect to office and do all that work, right? But pandemic has made us learn that no matter where you stay, no matter where you are put up, no matter what clothes you are wearing in, no matter what ambience you're sitting in, your work can continue to be, same way. Or I believe I have personally seen that my team has actually delivered more in pandemic is because they spend less time on the roads. They spend less time, going around and having a, physically, stressed out, mentally stressed out by traveling and so on and so forth. As a lot of organizations that we serve, considering, we consider ourselves as one of the, the change agents, right? Where we do not just sell the product, right? We sell the solutions to the customer, or we rather approach the customer with the right solutioning so that it helps them, right? So we are not a box selling company. We are typically cybersecurity focused company where we give them the right set of solution that enables them to do what they're supposed to do. And pandemic was one of the case where, we've been approached by a lot of customers, and we saw and adapt, right? That people started adopting a lot of change in the way that they work, in the way how they used to look at a lot of things earlier, right? So if you ask me, I think pandemic has helped us to understand one thing, that that change is the only constants that there is. And one thing that I like about you guys is that you have evolved as an InstaSafe, as a company, that what I was working with you guys have evolved, right from an on-prem to cloud to hybrid, and amazing solutions that you guys have come up with. And I personally believe that if you have a right solutions in place, there is a less overhead of managing a lot of product. There is a less overhead of a lot of energy that has been spent on the road or travel and so on and so forth. So if I had to take this, my take would be that people should evolve with the right set of solutions, and people should evolve with the right mindset. I think this were the two things that COVID has put across to us. And, partner like ProTechmanize and solution organization like InstaSafe has played an amazing role out there to understand the requirement, adapt to what it requires, and plug in the right set to get it done. And I see the journey was amazing. If I come from a different background, you come from a different background, the customers now we are serving, and we have been on the other side of
that. Reminds me, you being both sides of the table, how was it panned out?
If you ask me, Rajat, it has been, and it was way more convenient for me to explain somebody because it's not a selling of product, as I said earlier, right? It's about I being in their shoe and I understanding that what they want, right? What they are looking at, what challenges they are in. And we have always been a consulting arm of a lot of customers, right? So irrespective of they buying the solutions or product from us has never been our core forte. We've always wanted to be on their consulting side so that we understand, we tell them what they want or understand or tell them, how should they do things across, right? And my association with InstaSafe, with the way that you guys were, what the ways that you guys are right now, in totality, the change was brought and it was adapted by you guys, and you guys have actually, added the blocks in the puzzle and said, yeah, this, that, and it's been done. So, as I said, my take is very simpler out there, that be the change and, focus on the change and do the best. And you guys have done that amazingly. And I have seen the customers adopted a lot of change in this pandemic times.
This pandemic also has brought in a lot of cultural change in terms of adapting to technology, right? How do you see organizations now looking at technology per se, before pandemic and after pandemic?
So earlier, I'll give an example out of this, right?
Yeah.
Earlier, we used to go to the to the organizations and put our solutioning to them, that this is how we should do and this is what they should do. The good part was that the CIOs and the CISOs and the CTOs and the CDOs, they were all aware that what we are trying to put across to them, but there was never a management buy-in, that why do we need this? We don't need this, it's okay. We are still surviving through it, right? So we had the IT leadership understanding our side of the story, and they were keen to adopt a lot of new solutioning or pro technology out there. But the force behind that leadership, IT leadership, was not that much in sync or aligned. That is how I would like to put it across. But pandemic has actually made it the other way around, where now the IT leadership, be it a CISO, CIO, CTO, CDOs, they now do not have to justify the reason to have this kind of solutioning in place, right? So there was a clear need of understanding that technology is a business enabler. If you do not have a technology, it can't, the business can't function, right? So in totality, if you ask me, it was a blessing in disguise to entire IT leadership or entire IT industry to make the universe understand that the technology drives business.
I would second that. Absolutely.
If there's no technology, and if there are times like this as pandemic, you no longer exist in the market, right? So that was one of the blessing in disguise. And I believe IT leaders has always been very prompt in understanding the situation and taking the right action, and they actually did that in the right way. And that buy-in that was missing early was now in place.
Some of the business heads' demands which came across to you from the technology point of view.
What earlier used to happen is that there was a box and there was a jewelry in that box, right? So what I had to only do is to protect that box.
Right.
Because the reason I'm saying a jewelry is because it could be a valuable thing that is inside the box, and to protect that valuable thing, I don't protect the valuable piece of art or jewelry or whatever it is. I used to protect the box so that nothing inside goes out, right? And I'm very much secure. Now what happens is that valuable piece is now roaming around. So now you don't have a box.
Okay.
Right? Now, how do you protect that?
Of you talking about data being in multiple places.
Absolutely. So, for an organization, that valuable piece was nothing but the laptop, the desktop, right? That is carrying the data, that is carrying the credential, authentication, authorization, everything on that box was, that piece of the precious piece was now on the road, roaming around everywhere, right? So that box was now not centralized.
So the perimeter is completely broken.
It's completely broken, right? So we have seen that the leadership understood that it's two different solutioning or three different pieces that were required to be taken care of. One is the data that was there, so it was data security. Second one was the endpoint security itself, which is compromised. And the third was that how do they connect to the applications, how do they connect to the network, how do they connect to the infrastructure, and so on and so forth. And in totality, if you look at it, the last piece, the network, security that connects the machine or the laptop or the desktop or the server to the cloud application to on-prem application was the enabler. Right.
Yeah.
So once that was established, the endpoint security was anyways there. It was reporting back. The data protection was there. It was reporting back. But first and second, the data security and the endpoint security protects what's there on the machine, right? But the moment a machine is connected to the network, everything has to be secured and so on and so forth. So players like you guys have been an game changer, an enabler to have this kind of business connected. And this three pillars is what I've seen that has happened. And as I said, that the box is no longer there. It's just the precious device that is sitting inside is now roaming around. So you directly need to protect the precious device itself.
Yeah. How do you see now this multi-cloud? A lot of organization has got AWS, Azure, as well as GCP, or probably some of the what you call DR and DC kind of setup. In that scenario, how do you see things going ahead changing?
Two things. There was a wave that everybody wanted to adopt a cloud and only cloud and so on and so forth. They stick to one of the cloud and say, that is what we will do and so on and so forth. It started changing. People's going hybrid. Now this hybrid can be multi-tenancy of a cloud, or it could be on-prem and cloud and so on and so forth. So we have also seen a lot of customers now coming back to on-prem with a hybrid situation, so that things become on that way. People who are already on one cloud going into two different cloud and three different cloud and having a multi-tenancy out there. Mm-hmm. But what I've seen is there is always two leg. One is on the cloud and one is on-prem. Or in the multiple ways, if you ask me that, multiple leg on the multiple cloud and then one leg on the on-prem also. The only challenge, or the majority of challenge, is how do you have the communication between this cloud, or how do you enable your people to communicate all of this, multi-tenancy cloud or hybrid situation through a single standpoint. And that has been one of the pain area, and that is where I've been talking and I've been telling people like you or Sandeep what you guys have done at InstaSafe. Has actually put across these challenges into one small, pocket and said that's how we go, irrespective of where do you stand, what cloud do you stand, where hybrid it is or what not it is. We'll get you connected each and everywhere and get that thing done. So adaptability of the cloud will continue to grow. Adaptability of having a hybrid will continue to grow. It's just that how do you enable your users to be business ready or operations ready, no matter where they come from. When I say no matter where they come from, I mean more about which network they come from and how do they connect it. So,
being a cybersecurity expert, one of my curious question to you would be that during this pandemic, the cyber security threats increased by more than 400%. How do you see organizations protecting themselves against this kind of scenarios? When everything, the perimeter is broken, everything is open.
Absolutely right. I was trying to bring that same example, right? It's like a roaming asset, right? It's just no longer an asset sitting under a box. So, of course, there has to have a multi-layer protection that's there since ages. Like we have been preaching that you should have multi-layer and so on and so forth. But what is now important is that is what we have seen is that people, process, technology, all three has to be emphasized and put across in the right place. And I think different leaders have different way of looking at how do they take care of the security risk. But if you ask me in a very short answer, I would say the right set of controls for people, process, and technology will actually ensure that we are able to do a lot better than what we had earlier. So my only suggestion would be that we should focus on all three pillars with the right set of solutioning, with the right set of approach. That's how I would put it across.
Process and technology too. Three. Okay.
Absolutely.
With that note, being a consultant as well as a person who has probably seen both sides of the table, what would be your advice to your peers as well as organizations, what they need to do, three key things, what they need to do or implement to be future ready?
See, the first and foremost thing is that when there is a sale in a mall, right? We don't go to buy something which is not required, right? So my only suggestions to them will be that we should have a right set of understanding that what is that we are trying to address, right? And we should value the solutions that we are particularly putting it across to the table or the management to address that particular risk, right? My only request to all or suggestion would be that we look at the right outcome, and we don't particularly stick to a product only because of somebody else has been using it, or basically somebody else has has given some pre-described perception about the solutioning, or idea is what I'm trying to put it across is that as a security leader, I would always go and try and consult my fellow leadership in the IT or IT security space, that look at the right solutions, look at the right outcome that you're looking at, know that what is your pain area and address it correctly. That is what I would like to put it across to you.
So one last point, what would be the one key takeaway you would say you have got learned through this pandemic?
I would say that you should be as a pandemic has made us all learn that there is no longer a necessity of an office. Your each device itself is an asset to you. So have a right set of approach being put across, and ensure that you are ever ready to work, no matter if it is a beach or if it is an office or if it is in some garden or some farmhouse. The show must go on, right? And technology being a game changer or a business enabler, there is never a laid back thing that we all put across, because if we don't give the right set of enabling to the business won't run. So my only thing is that as an IT leaders, we should all be looking at the right outcome from the right product that we come across and the right solution.
All right. It is awesome talking to you, and I believe there is a lot of learning from this, and probably as fellow IT leaders as well as the customers and friends who probably get to learn a lot of things with your experience.
Absolutely.
And thank you so much for joining us. It was being a pleasure to have you on board, and we look forward to have you on board many more times ahead. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Vijay. Thank you.